to everyone that has joined our meeting. My name is Mehdi Raza Jaffrey. I'm the current president of the University of Houston's ABSO team. And I'd like to thank everyone and all the reciters for joining us. I'd like to especially thank ABSO Network for putting this platform on for us, and then everyone else for joining us to commemorate the martyrdom of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So the agenda we have today is that we'll be starting with Quran, followed by some poetry, and then we'll start the interactive discussion. I'd like to kindly request that if you're not reciting or talking, to please have yourself muted. That way there's no distractions for those that are talking or are reciting. So inshallah, we'll go ahead and we'll get the program started with a loud salawat. I'd like to introduce Brother Muhammad Raza from the ABSO Network, who will be reciting Quran with us. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad wa ajil fajrum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. Brother Muhammad Raza, are you online?
Yes, I'm actually trying to share my screen. Yeah.
Sure.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فمن أظلم ممن كذب على الله وكذب بالصدق إذ جاءه أليس في جهنم مثوى للكافرين والذي جاء بالصدق وصدق به أولئك هم المتقون لهم ما يشاءون عند ربهم ذلك جزاء المحسنين ليكفر الله عنهم أسوأ الذي عملوا ويجزيهم أجرهم بأحسن الذي كانوا يعملون أليس الله بكاف عبده ويخوفونك بالذين من دونه ومن يضلل الله فما له من هاد ومن يهد الله فما له من مضل أليس الله بعزيز ذي انتقام ولئن سألتهم من خلق السماوات والأرض ليقولن الله قل أفرأيتم ما تدعون من دون الله إن أرادني الله بضر هل هن كاشفات ضره أو أرادني برحمة هل هن ممسكات رحمته قل حسبي الله عليه يتوكل المتوكلون قل يا قوم اعملوا على مكانتكم إني عامل فسوف تعلمون من يأتيه عذاب يخزيه ويحل عليه عذاب مقيم إنا أنزلنا عليك الكتاب للناس بالحق فمن اهتدى فلنفسه ومن ضل فإنما يضل عليها وما أنت عليهم بوكيل الله يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها فيمسك التي قضى عليها الموت ويرسل الأخرى إلى أجل مسمى إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون أم اتخذوا من دون الله شفعاء قل أولو كانوا لا يملكون شيئا ولا يعقلون قل لله الشفاعة جميعا له ملك السماوات والأرض ثم إليه ترجعون وإذا ذكر الله وحده اشمأزت قلوب الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة وإذا ذكر الذين من دونه إذا هم يستبشرون قل اللهم فاطر السماوات والأرض عالم الغيب والشهادة أنت تحكم بين عبادك فيما كانوا فيه يختلفون ولو أن للذين ظلموا ما في الأرض جميعا ومثله معه لافتدوا به من سوء العذاب يوم القيامة وبدا لهم من الله ما لم يكونوا يحتسبون وبدا لهم سيئات ما كسبوا وحاق بهم ما كانوا به يستهزئون فإذا مس الإنسان ضر دعانا ثم إذا خولناه نعمة منا قال إنما أوتيته على علم بل هي فتنة ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون قد قالها الذين من قبلهم فما أغنى عنهم ما كانوا يكسبون فأصابهم سيئات ما كسبوا والذين ظلموا من هؤلاء سيصيبهم سيئات ما كسبوا وما هم بمعجزين أولم يعلموا أن الله يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون قل يا عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم وأنيبوا إلى ربكم وأسلموا له من قبل أن يأتيكم العذاب ثم لا تنصرون واتبعوا أحسن ما أنزل إليكم من ربكم من قبل أن يأتيكم العذاب بغتة وأنتم لا تشعرون أن تقول نفس يا حسرة على ما فرطت في جنب الله وإن كنت لمن الساخرين أو تقول لو أن الله هداني لكنت من المتقين أو تقول حين ترى العذاب لو أن لي كرة فأكون من المحسنين بلى قد جاءتك آياتي فكذبت بها واستكبرت وكنت من الكافرين ويوم القيامة ترى الذين كذبوا على الله وجوههم مسودة أليس في جهنم مثوى للمتكبرين وينجي الله الذين اتقوا بمفازتهم لا يمسهم السوء ولا هم يحزنون الله خالق كل شيء وهو على كل شيء وكيل له مقاليد السماوات والأرض والذين كفروا بآيات الله أولئك هم الخاسرون قل أفغير الله تأمروني أعبد أيها الجاهلون ولقد أوحي إليك وإلى الذين من قبلك لئن أشركت ليحبطن عملك ولتكونن من الخاسرين بل الله فاعبد وكن من الشاكرين وما قدروا الله حق قدره والأرض جميعا قبضته يوم القيامة والسماوات مطويات بيمينه سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون ونفخ في الصور فصعق من في السماوات ومن في الأرض إلا من شاء الله ثم نفخ فيه أخرى فإذا هم قيام ينظرون صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Thank you, Brother Muhammad Raza. That's beautiful recitation. Next, we have our events chair, Zara Jafri, who will be introducing our reciters.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. We just want to thank everyone for joining today. My name is Zahra Jaffrey, and I am the events chair at the University of Houston, ABSO. So first up, we have Sister Zahra Ali from Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston, Massachusetts. She uses writing as a form of art to speak of the truth on oppression and the Ahlul-Bayt. So please recite a loud salawat as we welcome Sister Zahra Ali, sorry.
Sorry, I don't know why this background turned on. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Ali. The heart of the Kaaba, Muhammad's wasi, the heart of Fatima is none but Ali. Ali is with truth and truth is with Ali. And Quran is with Ali. Ali is with Allah and Allah is with Ali. The heavens echo Ali, no sword like Zulfiqar, no young man like Ali. The Kaaba split open with Noor reaching the heavens for none but Ali. The father of the two chiefs of the dwellers of paradise, Hassan and Hussein, were raised by Ali. Muhammad is the trunk, the branch is Ali. Hassan and Hussein are the fruits, the leaves are Shiane Ali. Muhammad is the city, gate to the city of knowledge is Ali. He slept on the deathbed to protect Muhammad. He was the shadow of the one who did not have a shadow. The shadow of Muhammad was Ali. Spirit so holy, one strike of his sword on the enemy was better than worship of all heavenly creations. This strike comes from none but Ali. None but Ali. But curse on the one who was the striker of he. The night when the heavens and earth shook, the night the call of prayer filled the air, it was a bloody night for Ali. Knowingly to his martyrdom, he walked to the masjid, went into sujood for Allah because he is Asadullah, the lion of Allah is Ali. If everyone else fled his side, for peace alone will stand Ali. because he is Asadullah, the lion of Allah is Ali. He is my strength in my everyday trial. In sorrow, he is the reason behind my hope. In sorrow, he is the reason behind my smile. Ali, I strive to be, the torch of humility was he, the definition of compassion, the one who created bravery. He is the love of Muhammad. He is the love of Fatima. The love of the Most High is Ali. Thank you.
SubhanAllah, Sister Zahra, that was amazing. Thank you for those amazing words. I think the settings have been changed, so can everyone recite a loud salawat?
Allah.
Allahumma salli
على
ala Muhammad.
وعجل فرجه.
Thank you, Sister Zahra. Next, we have Sister Batul Rizvi. She is a recent grad from Rutgers University. She has been writing and performing spoken word poetry for over 3 years. A majority of her inspiration stems from the Ahlul-Bayt, whose legacies and paramount sacrifice inspire her work on contemporary social justice issues. Please recite a loud salawat as we welcome Sister Batul. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for that kind introduction. So my piece today is titled Orphans of Ali. Another night passes, a blanket of darkness engulfs the streets of Kufa. Its inhabitants break fast, dates, milk, and honey, the sweet fruits of blissful ignorance. The angels hold their breaths, the wind carries the cries of hungry children, waiting for their feeder to arrive. No longer can the night conceal its truth, for Abu Turab is lying on the earth, opening his fast with blood mixed in poison. A strike of vengeance leaving a streak of tears, death is near. The angels quaking, the earth shaking, the night howling, the heavens breaking. The children of Kufa upon hearing, carrying milk hand in hand. But the poison has taken its course. Gabriel and Mikael rush down. Who is there like you, O son of Abu Talib? For the father of Kufa was departing this world, leaving Zahra's children all alone, asking God, who will care for my orphans when the dust is blown? Will the gentle touch of a hand be felt once again? Will the cries of these children be met once again? Will there be another guardian who won't forget Kufa's orphans? Will there be another provider of the figs and honey of Hamdan, a father who will display such filial devotion, a man who used to say, look after the orphans and cheer them up, for they have rights over you, especially those whose fathers gave up their lives for the sake of Islam. A man who treated orphans in such a way their loss they forgot, but how bitter this world is, for it did not do the same for his progeny. Each moment they remembered protection was gone as Hassan felt the pain of his father's poison leaking in his liver. Hussein glanced heavenward as his body was between arrows and spears between this world and the next. Zainab looked towards Najaf when paraded to the palace's gates. Sukaina, with each slap and kick, remembered her grandfather's words, look after the orphans and cheer them up, for they have rights over you, especially those whose fathers gave up their lives for the sake of Islam. Tell me, where is the Islam in the poisoning, the kicking, the parading of orphans? Tell me, who is there left to care for the orphans of Ali? Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala.
Thank you, Sister Batul. Those amazing words have truly put into perspective the type of figure that Imam Ali was. Thank you so much. Please recite a loud salawat. And thank you to everyone who participated and recited today with those moving and amazing words on Imam Ali alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. So now I'm sharing with everybody a link to a Padlet. You can find it in the chat for Zoom. And basically how this is going to work is I've sent the link, and once you open the Padlet, please make sure to read the directions at the top. It'll kind of give you a summary of what you should be looking for. The directions state that you should read through our discussion questions, write a response, and try to respond to two other people's responses as well. So you don't have to respond to everything, just giving suggest that you respond to two of them. And we'll give you guys about 15 minutes own to respond to these questions. And once y'all have gotten time to read and respond to things that you guys found interesting. So if you guys have a certain like response that you think is really cool, you can like the message and go over some of those things. So the format is that the questions are at the top of each column, and then the supporting information is in like a blue box, and you can click on the link on the blue box and it'll like pop up the actual quotes and actual supporting images so you can see what's going on. You can also scroll left and right and up and down between the boxes. To submit a response, you have to click below the blue box, and there's like a little plus button if you guys are looking at that right now, and you can just add a comment on there. And that's kind of basically how to use Padlet. If you guys have any questions, you can ask right now, or if you get stuck later on, you can just let me know. So now I'll just give you guys about 10 to 15 minutes, and you guys can look through the questions and go ahead and respond to the ones that speak out to you or the ones you find interesting, and respond to other people's comments as well. Also, guys, one thing I forgot to mention is that when you post something on the Padlet, like a comment, go ahead and write your name first so we know who has submitted the response, and then just submit your response.
So for the people that are just joining us, if you can't see the Padlet link in the chat, we're gonna go ahead and repost it again, so you guys have access to it.
And guys, don't forget to include your name when you're posting something so we know who to refer to later on. Thank you. So the thing is, if you guys respond with the, like, there's a little plus sign underneath the blue boxes. If you click on the plus sign and respond through there and not just comment on the blue thingy, you're able to like each other's posts. So make sure you go ahead and click the little plus sign under the blue boxes. So a lot of you guys are new to the whole Padlet thing, and a lot of new people just joined. So I'm going to go ahead and explain it again for those who are kind of confused. So basically how Padlets, or how this discussion is going to work, is we have a bunch of questions here, 1 through 8, and you guys can go ahead and respond to 2 questions, and you can respond to 2 other individuals on the Padlet. And the way to respond is to click the little plus sign underneath the blue boxes or other people's posts, and that way you can see the added pictures and supporting images instead of those going down to the bottom. And we'll give you guys about another 8 to 10 minutes to respond to these questions on your own. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. You guys can just ask and unmute yourself, because I know this is kind of confusing. Oh yeah, and make sure to include your name as well before you post. And if you like a cool post, you can like it and we can discuss through there. So I'll give you guys about 5 more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and start discussing some of the things you guys have written. If y'all need more time, just let me know. Okay, guys. So it looks like a lot of people have responded, and the responses look really good so far. So we're gonna go ahead and start with number 4. It says, "What is the significance of the Prophet conveying to us here about Imam Ali?" And the quote is saying, "One strike of Ali is greater than all the ibadat of jinns and ins." And this was during the Battle of Khaybar. Imam Ali fights Marhab and wipes him out. The Prophet says that. So Gazina said something really cool. She said, "I think that this quote emphasizes how Imam Ali's strike was the highest form of ibadat." So Gazina, can you kind of elaborate on what you're talking about here? Hey, Gazina. Okay, that's fine. I think her audio isn't working right now, but Asad Ali, you also responded. You said every single action and deed performed by Imam Ali was in the happiness of Allah. And do you want I was wondering, can you expand a little bit on what you mean here so everyone can get a clear idea of what you're talking about?
Yeah, sure. So assalamu alaikum, everyone. What I meant to say by this, what I understood by this is Mullah Ali in the battlefield, he wouldn't take any action without the will or without, having pure intention that whichever action he's taking is for the happiness and khushnudi of Parvardigar, and it's for the religion of Islam, for the betterment of the religion. So I think that if we were to take example from our Mawla and lead our lives according to how Mawla led his life, even in the battlefield, wherever that may be, then every single action we do, down to the tiniest detail, such as, like I wrote there, breathing, even becomes an ibadat. Because every single action that we do in our lives is for the khushnudi of Parvardigar. So that's what I took from that quote.
Okay, that's really all right.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
really agree with that. And
Go ahead, Ali. Sorry, I interrupted you. Okay, hold up. I think it kicked him out.
Move on to question 4. The Ibn Muslim one, maybe.
All right. We're just gonna move on to number 7. So I think there's some technical difficulties. He's joining.
hello. Yes,
You back in?
yeah, I'm back in.
Okay,
So I just wanted to talk about how for this, because Imam Ali had devoted his whole life, like feeding off of what Asad Ali was saying, like because every single thing that he did was for Allah, like that, it shows how it can be compared to the ibadat of all the jinns and all the people.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's very true, and it's a very powerful statement. I'm just gonna go ahead and say something that, like, if you guys have anything to say, you guys don't have to you can contribute. You can unmute your mic, and if you want to add anything, you can go ahead and add anything. This is more of like a discussion towards you guys, and you guys can help feed off of each other or pose new ideas or questions. So if you guys have anything to say, don't be afraid to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So basically what I was trying to say for that earlier, the question was that what I meant by like Imam Ali alayhi salam's act of like worship being like, even if it's the strike of a sword, being more than any other creation is because as the person before me mentioned, Imam Ali alayhi salam acted entirely based off the will of God. And the reason why his action, even if it was to like, you know, to kill someone in battle, was more worthy than like any of the other creations such as jinns, is because Imam Ali also had like, so if you look at like, I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but when we compare like, you know, humans to like other creations, the differences between us is that not only do we have like a brain that we can use to think, but we have more like nafsi, like challenges that we have to fight against, whether it's like our emotions or stuff like that, or our desires. And so Imam Ali acting purely off the will of God and not letting his emotions get in the way was such a high form of like ibadat, because it was such a big challenge that he would always like, you know, that he would always like focus on. And so like the narrations about how even like Imam Ali would walk away before striking someone because he didn't want his anger to play a part in that action was just more proof of like that, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so just wanted to add to that point. I think this quote would make more sense. I think if you realize that this was said after the Battle of Khandaq, otherwise known as the Battle of Ahzab, when Imam Ali fought Amr ibn Abdul and when he was about to kill Amr ibn Abdul he disrespected the Imam by um, spitting on the Imam's face. And at that moment, Imam Ali stepped away from him, and in some riwayat say that he walked around the battlefield and then came back and then killed him. And when he was asked, he said if he would have killed it in that moment, then the world would have thought that he killed him out of the anger that he had due to his action.
Brother Abid, if you don't mind me commenting, I think that was such a beautiful comparison that you made to this hadith and to this question, because it really does show the level of intention Hazrat Ali had. And because he had that fear where I'm going to kill this person out of anger, he walked away from that battle. He walked away and he came back when he was had the proper niyat, and that niyat was for Allah. So I think that was beautifully put and beautifully aligned.
So I think just for my own conscience, I want to clarify that just because the position of Imam Ali is so lofty, it would be incorrect of me to even imply that Imam Ali didn't have the right intention even for a moment. So based on my understanding of the whole incident, I think the action of Imam Ali was to ward off any of the future allegations that may have risen due to that action. But at the end of the day, it is to show that our intention shouldn't be for anything else except for the sake of Allah.
Definitely.
Very good point, Brother Abid. I think we're gonna move on to question number 7, which also had a lot of popular responses. And you know, just by glancing at some of the responses and looking at question number 7 is in regard to how Imam Ali treated Ibn Muljam after being struck. And I think Sister Rabab Ali gave a really nice response, and she put into perspective the kindness that Imam Ali had. And if you're there, Sister Rabab Ali, I was just wondering, are there any things that you personally take away from the kindness of Imam Ali in this situation, and maybe how you think we should apply it into our lives?
Yeah, of course. Assalamu alaikum, first of all, everyone. No, I just think that this is such a good example that even when Ibn Muljam treated Imam Ali with such like disrespect, he still came out stronger. You know, he still stuck to his roots. He still was respectful. And I think that sets a really good example, because a lot of times, like, especially in today's society, like, where we hear about all these things about like, oh, like, you know, treat people, if they don't respect you, like, you don't have to respect them and all these things. But like, looking back at our history, like, this is what like the Ahlul-Bayt has taught us. And I feel like we should stick to that, because a lot of times we feel like it's okay to disrespect people if that's how you're being treated. And I just think that even if you're being kind towards someone or being respectful, that might change their perspective, you know, like that might be like, oh, well, I was so rude to this person, but like she or he still treated me with respect. So that might change how they treat other people. And just by showing that, like you can change a lot of other people's hearts. And I think that's important. I think that's what the Ahlul-Bayt kind of like stood for as well. So I just think it's really important to display that towards others.
Okay, so really quick, before anyone does go next, I do want to say that it's almost 10 o'clock, so please do not leave because we are continuing the discussion, but after the discussion, we are going to do the poll, and that's the most important part of the event because this is an event for the quarantainment series. So if you guys enjoyed this event and if you think that it's like insightful throughout the discussion, then please make sure to stay till the end so we can do the poll and see how well our like event went for it. So just if you enjoyed the discussion, just make sure to stay till the end. Thank you.
The poll is really just to help us improve, but like she said, we're not ending quite yet. We're going to go over a couple more questions and have more of a discussion with you guys, and then we'll go ahead and do the poll. So does any...
I would like to go off of what the sister said about what the Ahlul-Bayt has taught us, and I think she put it really beautifully because Imam Ali really followed what Prophet Muhammad said, and as we all know the story where the woman used to throw trash on the Prophet, and when she was sick, he went and visited her, which changed her heart. So I think that's a really important thing in our everyday lives because we've all dealt with people who have disrespected us or said anything to disrespect us. And a lot of times in our head, we're like, oh, like it makes us angry. So I think the way to really change somebody's heart is with your kindness.
Thank you for that response, sister. Kind of, I guess maybe let's moving on to the next question. One question that I think was submitted by one of the brothers that was really intuitive, but also different than what we kind of normally see was question number 8. And it talks about the steps we can maybe take to revive a connection with nature and some of Allah's creations in regards to Imam Ali and the way that he lived his life. So I know Brother Shabir Sayed, you had a really good response to it. And if you're there, maybe you can enlighten us or expand on your response a little bit. Or anyone else that also responded to this question.
Yeah, so yeah, I wasn't expected to be called on, but could you 1 second, let me pull up what I actually wrote. I kind of forgot already. But let's see. So I was just saying essentially that again, kind of like about being essentially trying to be humble about ourselves and recognize that while we might be say like we might have this status in society and everything, that to Allah that doesn't mean anything really, and that in the end we're just creations, just like the trees, and according to Allah everything has value, and because he created us all equally. So I was just saying that we should first start by acknowledging that and realizing that we're kind of inconsequential in some ways, but that we need to be able to acknowledge each other and go from there.
I definitely agree with you. Just to kind of add in, it says like what does the weakness of this connection say about the state of humanity? I think one thing that somebody kind of brought up in the comments was a little bit about what we can do in our community. So like, for example, in our, like wherever you guys live, wherever you guys are from, try to take steps to improve our environment based off what the quote in the question were saying, and maybe, you know, help our masjids, help our mosques and our centers, kind of implement that into our societies there. It can even be like small things that we do, using disposable things, not disposable things, I mean recyclable things or reusable things as well. So thank you, Brother Shober. If anybody else wants to expand on this, you can go ahead and do so.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that in our societies today, a lot of like living in the United States, we tend to leave like God and religion out of things. It's become super secularized, and I guess it's like holding on to your identity in a state like that is something that can like reconnect with Allah, because we tend to like go about, or at least in the American society, they don't really want to mix religion with school, with culture, with politics, XYZ. It still ends up happening, but on our end, we can like apply what we do in our day-to-day lives, be it school, like being involved in like religious organizations, or like spending time with people who share your values, just so that like you always have the reminder of Allah on your mind. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
So if we don't have any more responses, then we can move on to the next question. If anyone does want to say anything else to this one or add in. Okay, so basically the next question we're going to do is number 6, which is how do each of these pillars strengthen faith? And the hadith that it goes off of is from Nahj al-Balagha, and it's basically where Imam Ali says that when he was asked about faith and religion, he said that the structure of faith is supported by 4 pillars: endurance, conviction, justice, and jihad. So this quote is actually quite insightful, because you really have to analyze it to understand how each of those concepts links into faith and how it really reaffirms it. I think Brother Hassan Hashmi gave a very insightful response. So if you want to elaborate, Brother Hassan. But okay, so
everyone.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so do you want to elaborate on your response?
Yes, sure. This is actually a very important saying of Imam Ali. What I feel, because there are like 4 pillars. When you follow justice, you have to learn to recognize what is right and what is wrong, and that's how you value the truth. So once you practice that, which is through endurance, you strengthen it, and leads to conviction. And through conviction, when it gets internalized, you develop such a strong character that you lose fear, and eventually all your actions are only for God's sake.
So one thing to note really quick, I think every time someone says the word jihad in comments, it turns into the cursing emoji. So I'm pretty sure no one's intentionally putting that in. But basically that's extremely and it's so amazing to see, if you look in Nahj al-Balagha, when Imam Ali does talk about this, he actually isolates 3 to 4 different factors for each concept. So for endurance, for conviction, justice, and for jihad, he gives 4 different reasons as to why that actually supports faith. And when you look at it, the main things are that, for example, for endurance, when you look at that concept, what it's about is that you have to evaluate life as if it's a challenge or a test, and you have to last till the end and fight against your nafs and truly overcome all the temptations that you go through. And so when you do that, it reaffirms your faith, because you get an even more deeper conviction of your faith being what's right. Right. And when you do that, when you have this conviction that what your aqidah, the beliefs that you have are what's right, what's haqq, then you have a deeper, you have a more motivation to actually strive to educate yourself, right? And actually learn about everything that you're learning about, and the pillars of Islam, and whatever different areas Islam does offer, so much such vast knowledge, you try to uncover it. And when you do that, when you have that understanding, then you can move on to justice as well, right? And you can truly go through every aspect of your life and give it the standing or the attention that it deserves. And then when you do go through your life with just and correct decisions, then you can also move on to jihad, which isn't just physical fighting, right? But it's also about persuading people to do what's right, and like, condemning whatever's wrong. And when you do that and you start to bring people towards your faith through your actions, then your faith is at its highest, and it's at its peak. So it's just crazy, because this is just a little snippet of that quote, to give you a little bit insight. So does anyone else have any comments or like questions or like they want to elaborate on the hadith? If not, that's totally fine, because this quote is something that you kind of have to read into beforehand to truly understand. But that's why I think it's really important to address and sort of like look into. If there's any more questions left, we can move on to them.
Okay, thank you, Sister Gazina and Brother Hassan. We wanted to move on to question 2. It says that from this book called The Restatement of the History of Islam and Muslims, Sayyid Ali Asghar Razavi says that in the household of the Prophet, Imam Ali and the Quran were raised as twins. So what can we understand from this statement? I saw that brother or Sister Ambrina and M. Jawad had really good responses that kind of stuck out to me. If any of you guys would like to contribute to that, to question number 2, that'd be great.
I guess I'll go. So I had talked about how Imam Ali alayhi salam growing up was raised by the Holy Prophet, and he was also like there during the times when the Prophet was obviously relaying the Quranic narrations to him, which means that he grew up with the Quran in his household, but he also grew up with the Holy Prophet at the same time, and it makes him the most qualified to, teach the Muslim Ummah on what the Quran says, what the meaning behind it is, because he has the knowledge of it from like when it was first given to him. Like he has that status out of anyone else growing up in the Prophet's household, as well as like being, I guess, like having the proximity to the Quran when it was being revealed.
Yeah, going off what Sister Ambrina had just mentioned, I think another great thing that we can kind of understand from this quote, and also a lot of the other quotes that we kind of see, is that a lot of the times, we hear about Imam Ali's achievements in battle, his heroics, but I think this highlights like a certain aspect of him that is not always taken to its fullest extent, or that we always utilize. And maybe it might be just reading quotes of Imam Ali or understanding maybe some of his small tafsir that we have. But it really highlights, a different aspect of his personality and what he held and the value that he has to us.
Also, kind of like Brother Asad Ali said, the Quran and Imam Ali or the Ahlul-Bayt work hand in hand with each other, which is really important for us to understand. Brother Asad Ali, do you want to expand a little bit more on what you've written?
Yeah, sure. So, well, like I said, we have to understand that Quran and Ahlul-Bayt, they work hand in hand together. So, whatever, if you really want to understand, the religion in its entirety, it's just as Rasulullah Khuda said in Ghadir, where he said, "I'm leaving for you 2 weighty things, the Quran. One is the Quran, and the other is the Ahlul-Bayt, and you have to, stay steadfast with these 2 in order to stay on the correct path or lead your life according to the way Allah wants you to lead it." So I think we need to understand that we can't take one without the other. If we do decide to do that, then we'll go astray. And we do see that in not just our society, but other sectors of the religion of Islam, where people who decide to take one over the other, they don't really, or they're not able to really grasp the true understanding and the true message that Rasulullah Khuda tried to convey, and that the true religion that Allah wants us to follow. So there's extremes to both sectors of the religion, and I think this quote was just referring to that, is that if you want to lead your life in the best way possible, and in the way that Allah wants you to lead your life, then you need to lead it with these 2 as your guide. You need to lead it as as Quran explains it to you, and as you see in the examples set by the Ahlul-Bayt and how they led their life. So that's basically just what I was saying. If
I
anyone
have
else
something
wants to
to,
add to that.
yeah, I have something to add as well to that.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, because it was talking about Imam Ali and Prophet Muhammad in the Quran, and you mentioned Hudayrahum, and when I remember that when when Prophet Muhammad, when he told the Ummah that he's basically leaving Imam Ali behind, and Hadith al-Thaqalain, when it's talking about Quran and Ahlul Bayt, Prophet Muhammad, instead of raising his two fingers on his right hand, which would be of his like middle finger and index finger, he raised both of his index fingers to show that both the Quran and Ahlul Bayt were equal, and that you can't take one higher than the other. I think that's
Exactly.
very important to show, because like other sects, like Wahhabis, like other Sunnis, they say, oh yeah, we take Ahlul Bayt as well, but they take it lesser than Quran. And then there's some people who take Ahlul Bayt more than Quran, but what you need is balance. And I think like Islam in general is all about balance. If you're out of balance, if you're doing something is really extreme and it doesn't look correct, then I think that's the wrong Islam.
Yeah. And going off of that also, because I remembered, if you do read the Quran, a lot of what's inside, written in it has to do with war, and and that's really what people outside of the religion they piggyback off of, is that Islam is basically, through the Quran, it seems like it's a religion of war, and it's always talking about jihad and a slaughter. But that's again, if you take the Quran in itself, just alone, without the guide, without a proper teacher, then you won't be able to understand the true meaning or the true message behind that. So yeah, I just wanted to add that as well.
Those were all very insightful entries by the brothers and sisters. Since you guys have already mentioned the Hadith of Sakalain, I also want to mention the Hadith Ana Madinatul Ilm wa Aliyun Babuha. I'm the city of knowledge and Ali is his gate. So I think that is important whenever we're questioned, why do we hold on so much to the Ahlul Bayt? Why do we cling on so much to Hazrat Ali? Is because for all these reasons that you guys have mentioned, and the importance of Imam Ali being raised with the Prophet around the age of 5, and being the first man to accept Islam around the age of 9. He grew up with this religion, and he was the first man to accept it. So when we say that Hazrat Ali is the gate of knowledge, we understand what we take from that hadith is that to enter the religion of Islam, we have to understand Hazrat Ali, because his understanding will help us follow the path of Rasulullah. And Brother Abid gave another great example of another great battle. So if he's still around here, I would love for him to talk about that a little bit too. And Brother Abid's not here, then inshallah, if anybody has any other comments, questions, then you guys are free to question or answer, or we can move on to the next question.
Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our last question, and then we'll go over question number 3 as our last one. And this one covers one of probably the hardest moments in Imam Ali's life, where he was rejected by a lot of the people of his time, and led to a point where no one would hire him, and he would work on a Jewish man's farm. I think there were a lot of really great, insightful approaches and perspective on this question, but one that I really liked that kind of summarizes it is Brother Ali Abbas Raza's answer. And if you're there, Brother Ali, can you give us some more wisdom into your response?
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Mehdi. what I meant by this was that if you look through even like the most basic history of our Ahlul-Bayt, it wasn't the Jews or Christians or Hindus or Romans that constantly snubbed them, but it was their own Muslims. From the second that Prophet Muhammad died, the people who called themselves companions to Prophet Muhammad turned on Imam Ali. They stole what is his birthright, his Khalifa from him. They took the land that was promised to Prophet Muhammad's daughter from her, to the point where there was no sort of confusion of whether it was indifference or any sort of like confusion or whether Imam Ali was supposed to be the Khalifa or not, but it was malicious to the point where people were told not to trade with Imam Ali. Mavia spent money and time, years and years, brainwashing the Ummah against Imam Ali. This is all done on purpose. It was very purposeful, to the point where close to when Imam Ali was killed, he would say salam to people and they wouldn't even say salam back. That's how badly the Ummah was turned against him and twisted against him.
Yeah, that's very true, Brother Ali. Thank you for that response. Another popular response we had was from Brother Ali Hussain Takvi. If you're there, Brother Ali Hussain, and if you can give us some more insight into your response, it had 7 likes. So it seems like it was very popular, and I also liked it personally myself.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Mehdi. Yeah, I just, the reason I responded that way is because I felt like at the time he was the imam, he was their Mawla. And like I said, the word Mawla means master. And if he is indeed their master, you know, it doesn't seem like he's being treated that way if he is working at the farm of a Jewish man.
Very true. And then I think lastly, maybe just to sum it up, you know, although, you know, there was a him, and you know, maybe to even have the ability to converse with Imam Ali at times puts him in a really awesome position. So it shows you, you know, how although the Muslim Ummah might have
Hello?
Hi, we're here.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't hear what you guys had said. It seems that your audio cut out like at the beginning of your sentence.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I think we accidentally cut out here, but basically what we were just saying is if anybody else has something they want to go over, a question or anything, the floor is open to you guys. You guys can add any last insightful thoughts that you would like to add.